Welcome to the Cast Off. This is the show where two contestants compete by recasting your favorite actors in movies you love. I'm your host, Craig Price, and tonight we bypass some crappy movies to jump into what people tell me is where the Fast and Furious movies really start getting into their own, and that is Fast 5. But before we start, we have some great people tonight. We've got from Metal Geeks, we've got George Tripsas, and from the Clubhouse podcast, we've got Jenn Rohm. Welcome.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, Jen, you can say hello as well. I know everything's been so technical. We've had so many technical screw-ups that we're starting late. But
so glad everyone's with us tonight.
If they're still with us, I think they may have left. They're like, well, if he doesn't start on time, we're out of here. But we're going to start with the newbie. We're going to start with George. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Craig?
It's good to see you. I'm going to see you in about a month over at Comic Palooza, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm hopefully going to be there. It just all depends on my schedule.
Yeah, you got a weird schedule, but that's good because you're working hard and getting things done. So tell me what's going on over there at the Metal Geeks.
Metal Geeks is going good. We're going to be recording a new episode coming this week on Thursday talking about E3 and Carrie the Metal Geek along with Brutal Dave. They both love their video games, and I try to keep up, and I'm pretty sure I'll complain about some movies along the way. So if you like that and hear me talk about movies, be sure to check us out at Metal Geeks.
Yeah, because I've noticed that you and your cohorts don't necessarily agree a lot of the times on movies and music and anything.
Well, that's because they're wrong and I'm right.
Yeah. Well, someone who knows that. Jen, welcome to the show. You have some pressure on you tonight because both Alex and Rob, your co-hosts on the Clubhouse podcast, have been on this season and have won. Rob, as we know, was season 2 champion. So do you feel the pressure?
Yes and no. I felt pressure. Then I heard the movie and I was like, oh, I love this movie. And then I'm like, I got to recast it. And then I was like, ooh, I can do some eye candy picks. And I was totally excited about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much all they got on this is the eye candy picks. And before we start,
my wife said the same thing, actually.
Well, we'll get to the rules, and the rules are fairly simple. I am going to name a character, and you are going to give me an actor to replace the actor that plays them. The judges will tell us what the best choice is and get a point for that. I have also play along. I do this weeks in advance. I have my own little secret selection. If you happen to get that, that's a bonus point. But also remember, since I have other judges who sometimes, and it's been getting more and more contentious lately, that they're not picking my choice, which is weird because mine is always the best choice. But there is a good chance that you could get 2 points, but it doesn't always happen that way. Person with the most points wins. Fairly simple. And if there is a tie, there will be a double feature to win, and we will talk about the rules when and if those are necessary. But before we begin, let's remind everyone that this show is brought to you by Matinee Heroes, and June is Put a Ring on It month, and all month long we have been putting a ring on the Lord of the Rings trilogy with special guests for movies that make us. And this Saturday, we get to part 3, the title with the spoiler right in the name, Return of the King. So you can head over to matineeheroes.com/subscribe to subscribe to the audio podcast, Matinee Heroes. But if you actually like the show that you're watching right now, you can also head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff, see past episodes, and also pick your favorite video stream and subscribe there. All right, here we go. This is... The reason why we're doing this is next week, F9 comes out, so we're celebrating by recasting Fast 5, a movie I have not seen and probably will never see. So...
Shame.
Is there a reason for that, Craig?
Because I watched the first couple and they were stupid, and I don't believe, like I said, I watched the first one and I think I saw the second one and I'm like, that's stupid. And then they're all telling me, well, when you get to 5, well, I shouldn't have to watch 3 more crappy movies. They do not deserve my attention.
So
to be fair, the second one is like the worst one.
Yeah, exactly.
But did you follow someone else's trend of, I'm going to watch the trailer and cast from that?
Me, I kind of know. I know enough about these people,
okay.
And I also know the actors and the roles they play. So I'm not just some schlup off the street.
Well, I mean, it's worked for someone else, so I have.
Yeah, it only worked for. Yes, Randy Redacted has hit hard times as the last couple times he's tried that crash and burn. Well, let's start off with leading the franchise. the bruised toe with a deep voice, Vin Diesel as Dominic Toretto. I guess he's a criminal street racer / fugitive. So we're going to start with Jen. Jen, who do you have leading this motley crew?
I went with one Joe Manganiello.
Oh, she's going to get right into it. She's not even. I love this. She's not even going to give a little tease. She's just going right for Joe.
You don't even have to do more. I mean, and I sent you a possible photo, which I see you went with a different photo because
Yes.
I went totally for the eye candy photo.
Right.
Ladies, I sent him a shirtless one. He chose to, do the headshot. So
Yes.
That's
You know
our
what's
track
funny
guy.
about this pick? My wife picked the exact same person.
My wife picked Joe Manganiello. He's great because is he the sexiest D&D player ever? He might be. He loves D&D, but he's been in the Magic Mike movies. He was Flash in the Spider-Man movies. I don't think people remember that. Way back in 2000. He was Pee-wee's buddy in Pee-wee's Big Holiday. We saw him as Deathstroke in Justice League, but I think a lot of ladies, especially my wife, really got to know him in True Blood.
He's my favorite werewolf.
He's your favorite werewolf. All right.
I've never seen that show, so now I know he's a werewolf.
Yep. So let's get on to who do you have to compete with Joe Manganiello?
So with my picks, I thought about the franchise as if it was made in the 80s. And if this movie was made in the 80s, it would have became an all-time instant classic. So I went with classic actors from the 80s that I knew could definitely elevate this material. So my Dominic Toretto that I went with is Patrick Swayze.
Well, hopefully I picked a young enough, good-looking enough picture. Here's the problem.
That's good enough.
Yeah. I think people who have gone with themes have not both gone so well, so we'll see how it works out tonight. But this is a great start because Patrick Swayze is fantastic. Point Break, Red Dawn, The Outsiders.
Exactly. Yeah.
He all of these great. The first three you can hear at Matinee Heroes. So let's see who we got here. We've got Joe Manganiello, Patrick Swayze. I went with Steve McQueen because I also themed it, but I themed it 10 more years before you. So I went with 70s folks because I thought Steve McQueen in a car is just cool.
It is cool.
It is.
So the judges conferred, and Joe Manganiello because he's perfect for this because I think Patrick Swayze's too smart for the role.
He's too clean.
Oh, come on. I would say disagree in The Outsiders and in Point Break. Come on.
No, in Point Break,
That
he was a
just goes-
mastermind. He was a mastermind.
Yeah, but he was a crazy person in Point Break.
Well, sure, but he was still smart, unlike just Vin Diesel, who's just crazy. So now we're going to go to the late Paul Walker as Brian O'Connor, a former FBI agent who's now a criminal and is in love with the Toe's sister Mia. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. He's a FBI agent who wants to be a criminal. That doesn't make any sense to me. Usually it's the other way around. So, George, who do you have playing Paul Walker's Brian O'Connor?
So, again, keeping with my 80s theme, I picked who would make a good comparison with Dominic. And the best one I could find, since they already been in the movie together in the 80s, Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah. Tom. I tried to find him as young as you could because he's now, here's the thing about Tom Cruise is whether you like him or not, he's always giving 100%, whether you like what he's giving you or not. He doesn't go halfway with anything. And he's Top Gun, Days of Thunder, Jack Reacher, The Outsiders, and Collateral. All of those we have covered on Matinee Heroes because he really is. I don't know his personal life, he's crazy, but professionally, we love him here at Matinee Heroes. He is a top-notch professional and always worth the price of admission. That's a very good start. Very good start. So let's see if she'll do it this time. She'll just go right for it, or will she give us a little tease? Who do you have going up against Tom Cruise?
I am going to do a little tease this time. All honesty to Paul Walker's family, he's great. I never liked him in the Brian role. I was always recasting this role. And the one that I came up with time and time again was Keanu.
Oh, yeah. Now just imagine Keanu with your Patrick Swayze.
I think we already mentioned that movie. But he's got that moodiness you need. But we needed a little more wisdom than what Paul Walker brought to the part.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wisdom?
I'm
Are we saying Keanu Reeves and Wisdom together?
Absolutely.
He can bring it to a role.
Yeah, that's why he's
to a role.
That's why I say he's a gentle superstar, because he does all the action stuff, but even when he's kind of goofy, there's something behind his eyes that makes him seem like he's very Yoda-esque. Where you know what I mean? He's got some kind of. It's not necessarily he's super smart or he's got it all down, but he's got like a spiritual level that a lot of people don't bring to the movies. But great in the John Wicks and the Matrix movies. Even when he was young in Parenthood and Bram Stoker's Dracula, he was kind of not very good in that. But I loved him in Toy Story when he plays the Evel Knievel character. So we have Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves. I went with Paul Newman because now here's the thing: he's an FBI agent, so he's got to be a little bit clean cut. But they went with Keanu Reeves, which I would have gone with Tom because he's a little more FBI agent-ish, but Jen takes the lead with 2. So
this is rigged. I'm calling it.
It's still early.
Still early.
There is still 10 potential points on the board. And we'll start. Next is the sister and girlfriend, thankfully not of the same person, Mia Toretto, played by Jordana Brewster, the lovely Jordana Brewster. I guess she's the driver/recon person for the crew. Jen, do you have any idea what she does?
Well, she's a sister, so she's also a driver. She's kind of the mother. It's kind of a family unit.
It's all about family. It's all about family.
Different kind of family. It's the other side, the LA gang side versus the New York family side.
Well, it's not about gangster family. It's about family. It's family. It's
family.
It's family you find versus family you're born into.
Yes.
Oh, we're getting into deep themes of the. I didn't think we'd get there.
And so they had to pick a sister, and she did great in the first one. I just kind of was like, I need a little stronger female here. So I went with one Jessica Biel.
Ah, she is known for being in remakes, as she was in the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake of Total Recall, the remake of The A-Team, The Illusionist, which came out at the same time as The Prestige, so it could have been a remake of that.
And she's also been a vampire hunter, so...
Sure. She's also had a secret COVID baby. That's the big headline that everyone keeps talking about all year. Apparently she and Justin Timberlake had a baby during COVID. What else is there to do? I mean, good God. 2 very attractive people trapped in a house? What do you expect?
They're saying everybody's either having a baby, getting a puppy, or getting married or divorced.
Ooh. Well, let's move on from that, because my wife and I just celebrated our 17th anniversary last week. So hopefully,
so you need to get a puppy. You get a puppy.
We have 2 dogs. One is getting ready to die, and the other one is still a puppy.
Oh wow!
Well,
just full of sadness here.
Well, Gertrude's 15 and a half. So, so who do you have to go up against Jessica Biel from the 80s?
So I was trying to think who would be the perfect pairing for Tom Cruise in the 80s if I was making this movie in the 80s. And there is no hotter female and perfect pairing during this time than no other than Elisabeth Shue.
Oh, absolutely. I know Steve Condrick is upset because he's not on the show. He loves Fast and Furious. And the fact that you picked his favorite woman of all time, Elisabeth Shue, who is, let's be honest, she's beautiful, but she's super talented as well. She's still killing it. She's still killing it now on The Boys and all stuff. Very good pick. Let's see what the judges think with Jessica Biel, Elisabeth Shue. I went with Joanne Woodward, which is Paul Newman's wife, so no big deal. And of course, you got to go with Elisabeth Shue. So George, you are on the board, down by a point. It's 2-1 Jen. It's still a very competitive game. And now we move on to Tyrese Gibson as Roman Pierce. And you know, Tyrese Gibson should just be thankful anybody hires him for doing anything. But he is Brian's childhood friend who went to prison instead of becoming a cop like Brian. I guess it's like divergent paths. And now he's like the talker of the group. He's like the face kind of situation.
Comedic relief is what he is.
He's the Joker.
Comedic relief.
Okay.
He's the Joker.
Well, that's pretty sad because I've watched the shows. He's not that funny. So George, who do you got to play Brian's buddy who comes back to, I guess, drive that super hot car?
So in my pick, I picked someone not only would be a good bounce off of Brian O'Connor as Tom Cruise, or Tom Cruise as Brian O'Connor, I also picked someone who would do well against with Ludacris's character. And I was trying to think of two actors who had really good chemistry but weren't in a lot of movies together or in a lot of movies general. So I went with Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall! That's right. Yeah, Coming to America. I mean, I had to go to television shows for him, and not even like sitcoms. Like
not even good shows.
Well, no,
just
Coming
like
to America, Harlem Nights, and then the rest are reality television between Celebrity Apprentice, Star Search, and a late night talk show. So he has not been in a lot of movies.
Coming to America and Harlem Nights are some of my favorite movies.
Oh, he's good. I'm surprised. I think the Arsenio Hall show took him away from movies. He probably would have had a better movie career if he had stayed there, but he can't. It's him. It's Arsenio. What are you going to do?
Right.
Jen, who you got against Arsenio Hall?
So the Roman character tends to be a sharp dresser. And I wanted to find a good actor that's also known for being a sharp dresser. And, although he's missed, I went with one Chadwick Boseman.
Now, if I had known that was what you were going for, because I was going for the happy-go-lucky.
That works too.
That works too. Almost every picture that I could find of him, he is super serious and looking awesome. But he's known for being a fighter, not only in real life, because we found out later on he was fighting cancer the entire time, which is amazing. But everything he does, like Black Panther's a fighter, Jackie Robinson's a fighter. He was a fighter in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. He wasn't the good guy, but he was a fighter in that.
And maybe they could have done some more with the part with a fighter.
I was about to say, this would be a drastic misuse of Chadwick Boseman's talent to be Roman, because he should be much bigger in this. But Arsenio Hall versus Chadwick Boseman, I went with Samuel L. Jackson, because he can do all that stuff. He can look good. He can be the nerd. He can be anything.
There's another.
He can do everything. He can do everything.
Yeah.
And he has another movie coming out as well.
Sure. He's got lots of movies coming out. He's in a movie every 3 days. Well, we had to go with Chadwick Boseman. That's because, that's super talented versus just funny. He's a nice guy. Now we get to Chris Ludacris Brides as... Now, how do you say this guy's name? Tej? Tej? Tej.
Tej, whatever.
Yeah, he's the techie. He's the computer guy. So
also comedy relief.
Well, yes. After this, they're all comedy relief, aren't they?
Yes, kind of.
So Jen, who do you have playing the nerd? He's not a nerd, but he's the most nerdy of the group.
I actually went to an 80s version of someone on this one. I went with one, can we say it? Ice-T.
All right. Now, I tried to find a young picture of Ice-T, but he looks just like this when he was 9.
Yeah.
So
he does look timeless that way.
Yeah.
Tank Girl. Come on. He's part kangaroo, part human, part dog. What?
Well, the most important thing is that he's not Ice Cube, which is what he's mostly known for. Is people get those two? But he's in New Jack City, Leprechaun in the Hood. He was in Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. Did you guys know that?
No, I did not know that.
I didn't either. You learn something new on the podcast every day.
I didn't know the Johnny Mnemonic, but I did know Boogaloo.
Yeah, I didn't know. So
I think I have that cassette tape somewhere around here.
Yeah, he's a rapper in that. So let's go to George. Who do you have to go up against Ice-T?
So, like I was mentioning earlier, I was going for chemistry and great 80s actors for my list. And I was thinking who could pair up really well and bounce off material with one another with Arsenio Hall playing Roman Pierce. And there's no one else besides Eddie Murphy, especially since they've been in 2 movies together.
Absolutely. Now, like Chadwick Boseman is being desperately underutilized, Eddie Murphy would be desperately underutilized in this movie as this character, because he
would steal the show, unfortunately, is what I think would happen.
He's a massive star. I think kids nowadays forget, I feel old saying that, but kids forget how big a star Eddie Murphy was. As we did Epic May, and Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop is still awesome, but he was just in Dolomite Is My Name and Coming to America with the sequel. He's great. So we've got Ice-T, we've got comedy legend Eddie Murphy. We almost have a winner chicken dinner, but we don't, because I went with Ice Cube.
You and I get so close. There's always one.
So iced tea, ice cube together. It's a refreshing drink, but it's not going to be. It's not a chicken dinner. No extra point there. And they did go with iced tea, which I don't agree with, but that's just me. So now we have 4-1. But George, there's still 4 potential points on the board. You could come back.
Yeah, you tell me that now.
Yeah.
Well, now we get to the self-proclaimed franchise savior, Dwayne Johnson as Luke Hobbs, as he's a diplomatic security service agent, which is a real thing. I did not know that. But in this movie, he's more like a government bounty hunter, I guess. So, George, who do you have playing Luke Hobbs, who's going to get his own sequel?
Luke Hobbs. He did get his own spinoff with Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I was trying, like, again, keeping with my theme, there was no one else better for this role if you're going to shoot it in the 80s, and it has to be Carl Weathers if you're going to make this in the 80s.
Absolutely. He's the action hero's BFF. He's Rocky's buddy. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger's buddy. And Force 10 from Navarone, which is a movie from the 70s. He was Harrison Ford's buddy. And Happy Gilmore, he's Adam Sandler's buddy. But yeah, Action Jackson, of course. And of course, a little plug for Comic Palooza. He will be there for Comic Palooza along with several other Mandalorian folks. So here's your chance to meet him. From what I understand, he's a sweetheart. So Jen, who do you have to go up against Apollo Creed? I mean, that's going to be tough.
I know. And as I said, I went for some eye candy. And
Carl Weathers is not,
Yeah. He's
nothing to gawk
nice
at,
too,
yeah?
Yeah, he's not a box of raisins at Halloween. He's a full-on Snickers bar.
But everyone that I know always wants to be baby girl. So I went with one Shemar Moore.
Yes, this is my wife's favorite because he's known for inappropriate office banter because in Criminal Minds, the HR department must be working overtime just for him because he says some things that he should never say to another person he works with. But
I had no idea this guy was an actor. I thought he was just a model.
Yeah, he is. I'm sure he is.
Because he's a little bit of both, and let me tell you,
I'm not gonna lie. Look at his credits here. He's not in a lot of stuff because he was in Criminal Minds forever.
Yeah.
He hosted Soul Train when it was re-kicked in the 2000s. But a lot of ladies get humid whenever Shemar Moore is mentioned. Which is weird because both our judges didn't know who he was, which is why when I went with Keanu Reeves as Luke Hobbs, because you want a franchise, you need some big name to come in and save the franchise. They went with Carl Weathers because the two judges disagreed with me and my wife because I know Shemar Moore. He's great. But Carl Weathers is great too. So George is creeping back now.
2. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking I need a call from Shemar Moore saying hello, baby girl, to make up for no votes on this. So those judges need to find a way to find him.
I'm sure he's on Cameo somewhere.
Voicemail.
Yeah. So let's talk about this, George, before we start. You are down 2 points.
Yes, it seems pretty hopeless right now is what it seems like.
There are 2 potential points left on the board. So let's start off. We'll get and then of course we have the unbelievably talented of everyone who's ever been in this franchise. I didn't know she was in this, and this was her first big American role. And of course she becomes the great and powerful Wonder Woman. So let's get Jen out of the way. No offense, Jen, because you're either going to add on to your lead or nothing right now. So we'll get you out of the way. Who do you have playing she is the Mossad agent weapons specialist, which is perfect for Gal because she was a weapons trainer in the Israeli army. So, yeah. Who do you have replacing Gal Gadot, which is very difficult?
I went with one Amanda Seyfried.
Oh, that's right. I got these swapped up.
She's there's some photos. Yeah, there's some photos of her with that hair because she's got to be pretty, but she's got to be. People don't realize that she's about to bring the pain, and that she can outshoot you, and she's thinking 10 steps ahead because she's got the Mossad training. So it's got to be that pretty package. And I also wanted someone. I love me some Gal, but I wanted someone with a little more muscle tone on them in the part too.
So you went with Amanda Seyfried for more muscle tone.
compared to Gal. Compared to Gal.
Okay. All right. All right. This one kind of shook me to my core because she's always, like I said, doe-eyed teen. She was in Mean Girls, Mamma Mia, Ted 2, nominated for Mank in Les Miserables.
I think she's an untapped talent.
Especially in the action department. So yeah, I think maybe you have something that maybe you're onto something that the rest of us don't know. Well, let's get on to George. George, you've got a lot of work to do.
Well, I mean, like I said, it seems pretty hopeless since no one really liked my 80s theme here. But
we got two.
If we're going to continue. Well, we got two out of my 80s theme, but it's okay. I'm not taking it personal, even though you guys are wrong and I'm right.
There's the wrong way, and then there's Rome's way.
So I went with a woman who can definitely bring the action and could be like a powerhouse. She has done action movies later in her career, not in the 80s, but I really think she could have provided that definitely in the 80s. And it's no other than Demi Moore.
Now what kind of muscle tone does she have? I don't know.
Hey, G.I. Jane, she was pretty ripped.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. That's what I'm just trying to figure out because
and striptease.
Yeah, she was in A Few Good Men, which is what this picture is. And striptease, she could definitely hold herself up on a pole with just her leg. She was in Indecent Proposal. Absolutely. So we've got to talk this one out, George.
Yeah.
So what we've got this is you have to get the point first.
Yes, I do have to get the point. You're right.
So let's see how that works out here. We've got Amanda Seyfried, Demi Moore. Like I said, it doesn't matter what my pick is yet, because if you don't get this, you're done. But you're not. So you still have three out of. This is much closer than you think.
Hang it on with the tips of my fingers.
Well, the problem is, and I kind of told you guys this off camera before we started, that all the judges really didn't even want to vote for these two people as Gal Gadot's. So I went with Mila Jovovich because she can actually kick butt. So that means, and I got to make sure I have the right person because you guys have swapped cameras 15 times today. We have Jen. You are today's winner. Congratulations. And a very hard-fought and well-deserved win. You have today's final thought.
Thank you. George, you were fantastic. I had a lot of fun with this. I love me some 80s. But I had to hold it true for the clubhouse. My boys are going to be pleased that
sexy man meat all the way.
Exactly. Got to go for the eye candy. And I just want to say thank you, Craig, for doing this show. It means a lot to several of us, and we really enjoy the opportunity to get to be a part of it. So thank you for the show. I
certainly appreciate that sentiment, and it does mean a lot to the several half dozen that watch every week. So I really appreciate all my family watching, and Jen and everyone at the clubhouse.
And the clubhouse.
Yes, I know Alex is
and Vocal, VOKALnow.com.
Yeah, I know Alex watches every week, so I appreciate that. Rob when he can. But well done, both of you. But we still have to get on to next week. And next week we have, it's going to be a good one. 2 newcomers are coming to the cast-off, so someone is going to win and lose for the first time. From Synapse, Austin Bashaw, and screenwriter and author Blake Castleman join us as we've been doing Lord of the Rings all month, so we're going to do Lord of the Rings here, The Fellowship of the Ring. That's right. They're going to have to recast The Fellowship, and that is because this is the last week of the contest. This is all to promote our contest that ends this Friday, the 18th, where you could win the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended editions and theatrical releases on 4K Ultra HD, a 9-disc set, just by recasting The Fellowship with actors you want. So here's what you do. We got Frodo, Samwise, Aragorn, Boromir, Gandalf, Gimli, Legolas, Merry, and Pippin. Thank you very much for that. That really put a button right on the that was the loudest slurp I've ever heard.
Go George.
I was trying to get it right on the Merry and Pippin part. Sorry.
So So what I want you to do is recast any actor through time and space, whoever you think would be the best of each one of those. Then you're going to follow Matinee Heroes on Twitter and then email me your selections. By Friday the 18th, we've already had several come in. We even have an all-Korean version submitted. So we've gone international. If you'd like to be on the show, you can head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff/application and fill out an application. We'd love to have you. Of course, you can always email me at mhcastoff@gmail.com. One last thing, we have been nominated for Quite the Thing Media Awards, and we are Quite the Other special interest nomination for this show, Cast Off, and Matinee Heroes got a nomination for TV and Film Podcast for 2021. So please go to bit.ly/QTT voting. Voting ends on Saturday the 19th. We'd love your support. We work real hard. We don't make money, so just a little pat on the back and some prestige would make us feel really good. Here we go. This is where we're going. So you can follow us on Twitter at The Cast Off Show. You can join us on the Matinee Heroes Facebook group, and also go to matineeheroes.com/castoff where you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Matinee Heroes Twitch channel. Special thanks to, Alan Cerny. Popped his head in from Houston and he doesn't even know the show exists, I think. And he helped vote. And of course, Elisabeth Rapp, who is always on the show. Both of us, we all met together this weekend to do The Nice Guys, which will come out on July 2nd. So be aware of that. And on behalf of today's players, that is the wonderful George Tripsas and the beautiful and lovely and talented winner, Jenn Rohm. I'm your host, Craig Price. We will see you next week on The Cast Off.